it's Teresa here from Rochester in Kent in the UK. I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers, and I'd like to thank you for all your lovely comments, both on the channel here and on Facebook. It's always really nice to hear from you. Now, this is going to be a very quick project, and it's based on one of my great loves, and that's stained glass, especially medieval stained glass. So you could say it's purely self-indulgent, and I'm really sorry about that, but I am going to enjoy this project, I just know it. Now, the inspiration is from the West Rose window, Notre Dame in Paris, and that's in France, because I think there's a Paris in the USA somewhere. Fortunately for us and for everybody else, these windows survived the awful fire in 2019, and also the organs were saved as well, with only a tiny bit of damage. So that was really wonderful. Best thing of all is that nobody was badly hurt or injured, so that was a little minor miracle, or a major miracle going on there. Now, my friend and I hope to visit this cathedral couple of years before the fire, and we set off by coach actually to go to Notre Dame, but it was unfortunate, it was one of these Sundays where the places of interest are open to the public, and that's the first Sunday of every month, so the queues were absolutely enormous. Wherever we went, people were queuing. Although we were able to admire this absolutely beautiful building from outside, that was it. We couldn't go in because we had limited time, and we would have spent the whole time queuing. And it was the same at the Louvre as well, although I don't think the Louvre was free. I do think the Orangery was, Museum d'Orsay as well, but I do know that the queues were just horrendous. Hey, what a great idea anyway, but we didn't benefit from it. Luckily, we did make it to the Sacré-Cœur in Montmartre, so you know, it wasn't all bad. It's what you make it, isn't it? This beautiful window, it's taken an awful lot of changes, especially in the 16th and 19th centuries, and guess what? I'm about to change it again. Okay, the window's in layers, and the first ring is broken up into 12 sections, and these sections show the 12 prophets. The second layer shows the zodiac, and the third layer shows the months of the year. But both the second and the third layers show vices and virtues as well, and at the centre is the Virgin Mary. This window as well, it has the highest ratio of glass to stone than any other rose window. So as you can imagine, it's quite overwhelming and it's quite beautiful. Well, on that note, we'll do as we always do: feet on the coffee table, coffee in one hand, biscuit in the other, settle down, and I do hope you enjoy this. I worked this out, and I found it very difficult to do, to be absolutely honest. I think the quilters in the group might find it a lot easier, but I didn't. I had to do it several times, work it out. I think it would have been easier if I had done the diameter and the circumference first. As soon as I decided to do the circle first all the way round and then start dividing it up, it was a lot easier. So please take my advice. I think perhaps that's how you should do it, I don't know. Got this far. Now I'm just doing half, and then I'll replicate that on the other half, and that way I should get the symmetry correct. I don't know if you can see these very weak lines up here. I'm just going to go round here, and I think my best bet really is to do it properly with a ruler. So just going to join all this up all the way around. That we're working with, we've been inspired by, is predominantly blue. Now the reason for this was that stained glass was predominantly blue at this time because it was cheaper than the other colours, especially red. red was a very expensive colour, but I want mine colourful. I'm just being inspired by the actual shape of the window and the amount of fans or blades. I'm not really sure what these are called in architectural terms. I have a feeling they might be blades in quilting terms. Now, where are we? Here. These are all the samples that I'm going to use. I've already taken some out and I started to cut them up for the patchwork. And look, they're just an ideal shape, ideal length. I'll trim off the serrated bits, the bits that have been pinked with the shears. But all these little pieces will now come into their own. Well, not all of them. Of course, I'm going to go through and cherry pick the colours. But there we go. So that is the fabric I'm going to use. Now the background fabric, I've already outlined the size of the window, or the size of the patchwork. So there we are here. That is half of it. That's a whole lot, and I've just outlined it. And I've done it in pen because I will overlap the edge anyway, and it needs a little bit of a press too. But if you look carefully here, you can see the outline around the edge here, all the way around the edge. So I have started cutting these out. I've got two here in front of me at the moment, and all I'm going to do is trim off the serrated bits and just fill this space with the patches. I'm going to cover that. I will tack it down to secure it, because there's going to be a lot of work going on the surface, so it was going to need tack down. And as soon as I've got that far, I'll get back. I can see I'm going to have to do a bit of trimming as well, but as soon as I've done that, I'll get back. They've all been tacked down now, and I've tacked around the edge of that circle here, so you'll be able to see hopefully a white row of tacking around here, all the way around the edge. And now this is ready to be sewn down. I have actually taken it over here to fit it in, but those won't be needed. Now I'm going to sew this with 3 strands of black thread, and it's to give that stained glass look where the stained glass are joined with the black lead. So I'm going to go around all these at the moment, and I'll probably just do that in a little running stitch through each one. Now, if I can find my needle threader, I'll make a start on that now. So I've changed my mind actually. I've got 2 strands of thread in there. I think 3 might have been too thick for the effect I want, and I'm just going to start. I'll start here. A nice bright colour that you can see. Yeah, I'll start on the yellow and right up at the edge. Now at this stage I'm still unsure whether about doing running stitch or whether I should actually be doing an over sew stitch to stop it fraying. But I think oh, I don't know, I might change. I'm going to see how it goes, and if I think that this is the wrong choice, then don't be surprised when I get back to show you what I'm doing if I've changed stitches. But I think that would look, yeah, I just think that's the right stitch to do. I really do. Well, that took longer than I expected. I've now covered the circle with the patches, as you can see on the screen, and each one's been held down by a very small black running stitch. It looks quite nice like that. It's almost a shame to cover it up, isn't it? But it's quite, I think it's quite neat, and the edges are nice. So yeah, at the moment I'm quite pleased with that. Right, so all the tacking's out except for around the edge here, all the way around. I've put slow stitch or running stitch, whichever you prefer, all the way round the squares, or the shapes I should say. So every shape here has been held down with a running stitch. Now it left two like tram lines between, if I hold this one up you might be able to see like tram lines here from that side and that side. So there were pairs all the way around of the running stitch, and to my mind it didn't look too good, so I have filled most of them. In fact, I think I've filled all of them in with feather stitch. Now I kept to the black or the deep brown for the running stitch and some of the feather stitches, and I started off with this colour with the feather stitch, but then that started taking on a very dark look. So as you can see, I quickly changed track and I've added yellow, blue, and did I add another colour? Can you see another colour there? Yeah, oh, just yellow and blue. For some reason I thought I'd added green, but no, it's just yellow and blue. And I've taken the colours from here. So we've got the nice yellow here and obviously all the blue. So the next thing to do is to put this to one side for a minute and concentrate now about where I go with this. Now if you remember, this is just half of the design which will go around there, and already I'm liking this, the little bits of different colours here. I like that very much. Let's just see, move it about a bit. Yeah, I like this. I'm hoping that will look very nice when it's finished and not too fussy, but until we get there I'm not sure now where to go with here. I started just taking these, running this, it's a craft blade, just running the craft blade just inside or outside, whichever, the dark lines up here, and cutting these out. Now I don't mind, it's going to take a long time to do, but then I started getting scruffy edges like this, and I thought, well, that's not going to do. I mean, it makes a really nice sharp cut. So I've had a think. Now I think I'm going to make this up in paper the whole round, and I might machine sew without the thread all the way round so I can punch it out. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is to make this up into a big round, and then that gives me time to think about whether I'm going to punch it out with machine sewing or actually tack it down, because I do. Now unfortunately I haven't got any iron-on interfacing, so I'm going to have to use the non-sticky stuff, which makes it just a little bit more difficult to do. But I have background here of linen, and then I have the interfacing, and I finished the circle, and I'm going to pin that down in place. I'm still not absolutely 100% sure what I'm going to do, and as you've noticed probably on the screen, I'm actually popping this, the pattern, on the interfacing and not on the front of the fabric, mostly so I can see what I'm doing and I can keep an eye on this interfacing, otherwise the interfacing might go walkabouts. Now I've pinned through every shape here. Oh no, I haven't. I've got three I haven't gone through there. Now these should hold the paper flat to the fabric. You can see here the pins have gone right the way through. Next thing I'm going to do is actually machine sew over all these lines that you can see. Now it wasn't until I've done this and I've really looked at it carefully to put the pins on, I can see that these shapes, some of these shapes are all different. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. I've got a whacking great big one there, and I've got a skinny old one there. So just watch this space to see how this ends up. But for the time being now, I'm going to do some machine sewing just in ordinary thread all the way around here. And while I'm doing it, I should try to think about what comes next. That was quite a mammoth task, sewing down along all these lines, but I've done it, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the lines of sewing on here, but there's sewing on all these lines and on the back, which is actually the front as well. You can, if I'll hold that up a little bit, you might be able to see the sewing there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take this paper off very carefully. I really don't want to cut the stitching, but I'm just going to rip it off as best as I can. Hopefully leave the interfacing. And I can see this is going to take quite a time. It would have been a lot easier to have done this with tissue paper, like dressmaker's paper, but I haven't got any of that. So the next best thing, now I will spend quite a time doing this, but just to show you how it is coming off, and I have to do it section by section. I mean, if I break a few stitches, it's not really going to matter, because the stitching is in lieu of tacking, if you like. Instead of tacking, I've done it this way because I don't think the tacking would have got such an accurate or a detailed line. Ah, that's the way to, that's the way to do it, sounding like Punch and Judy. Right, so I'm just very carefully going to do there and lift them away. So already, just very gently, not on the stitching but at the side of the stitching, like this, right at the side of the stitching, and just lift that away. Let's see if I've gone deep enough. It'll just pull that away, and then I can go back later and trim these pieces, because I think there's going to be quite a lot left. But the main thing is I've got the straight lines, and I have now got the rows that I wanted. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the hard bit done. I say tongue in cheek, but anyway, I'm going to carry on and do this. And once again, while I'm doing this, I'll be thinking about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to carry on the next part. Right, nearly finished. One more to go, and then we'll have a look and see what it looks like. Oh, I think I've actually blunted this blade. That blade is blunt now. Right, there we go. Let's have a look. Right, I'm going to pop my torch underneath so we can have a look and see what it's like at this stage. Yeah, we're picking up, that's it, yeah, we're picking up some really nice shapes there, and that is just with the torch. Yeah, see what it's like that side. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah, that is the right side. Oh, that does look nice. Yeah, that's picking up the shapes. Lovely. Right, so the next thing to do is think about now how I'm going to embellish these pieces. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to leave the paper here while I work, if I'm going to remove it. I'm going to see if I can actually work through it, because it does give that a nice bit of structure, and it gives me some really good guidelines on the front here. I think you might be able to see it better here, like that. I'm hoping that pencil line, which I didn't realise was there, I hope I can disguise that. I'm sure I can, and cut away bits, because I'm going to put the stitching down now, embellish it. Not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to need to work that out, and then these pieces will be cut away. So I'm only going to embellish where you see the paper. So where the stitching is, if you're picking that up, I think over here, you can see it over here, up here. So where the stitching is, that's where I'm just going to do some more stitching all the way round, wherever the stitching is. That's my this is my template, like I explained, like tacking. I'm just having a break from this for a while. It's doing my head in a little bit, so I've hung it on the wall, and I'm standing back now. I've damp pressed it, that's why it looks a bit patchy here. It's actually damp stretching on the chimney breast. Luckily we have a hole here, there, and it fits a very nice coat hanger that has built-in steel pegs there, making it very strong, and it's just ideal for stretching, and the masking tape is holding it in place. So that is as far as I've got. Now the outside, if I pick up my flower, my dried flower here, the outside here has only been completed down to there. I just needed a complete break for a while, and then this afternoon, once this is dry, I'll continue all the way around there, and then this will be finished, I think, at the moment, but you know how things go. And then it will be time to work out how I'm going to progress from here. I don't know whether I'm going to back it with iron-on interfacing again, take the old one off, this bit here that's pointing through, you see that interfacing. I might strip the back and put some more down for the next step. Not sure yet. I need just to step away from it for a while, go out and do something else, and then when I get back I'll be fresh and full of inspiration and motivation, I hope. Oh, he's agreeing. You can hear him agreeing now. Okay then, so as soon as I've had my little break, I'll be back. It's off the wall now, and it's nicely flat, nicely stretched, with most of the creases out. I could have damp pressed it, but I felt it was a nice sunny day, I was going out, I might just as well stretch it on the wall, and I'm quite pleased with that. And not only that, the stitches are still raised. The pressing might possibly have flattened them, but at the moment they're still nice and raised. As you can see on the screen, I have finished off the edging now. It's completely finished. I did debate whether or not to put some dark brown around some of these, maybe around these, and then I thought, no, that might just exaggerate how wonky donkey this is, because you can you've probably noticed I've got small ones here and I've got large ones there. Wasn't intended to be like that, but it's worked out that way, and you know what, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's still inspired by the window, and that's all that matters. So the next thing I need to do is cut this out. Now I've actually been dreading doing this. I'm going to cut out all the shapes here, like this. So all the fabric here hasn't been sewn on, will be cut out, and that sounds a lot easier than it actually is. The idea is to then put this underneath and place this on top. I'm beginning to wonder if doing the feather stitch was a good idea, but it's there now, and that is where it's staying. So in order to do this, I have a ruler. Can't find the steel ruler, although I was actually holding it 2 minutes ago, and a sharp blade. and I've changed this blade. It still doesn't feel very sharp actually, but I have changed it, and I'm just, oh gosh, I'm dreading this, very carefully going to cut along these lines. Let's see, yes, yeah, they're cut. If you can see, these are opening. I'm going to cut along here. Not too close to the sewing. I don't want to touch the sewing for fear of breaking it. Along here. Now any scruffy bits, because they're bound to be frayed bits, I will just trim off with a pair of scissors, a very small pair of embroidery scissors, like this. You can see this isn't coming away cleanly here, so I'm going to take that off like that. Now I've hit the interfacing underneath. That doesn't matter about that, that can just be pulled out. There we go. Now with the small scissors, just going to trim off the scruffy bits here. I hope you can see that. You see the scruffy bit here? Just going to trim those off. I'm just trying to do this without too much touching and pulling. In fact, I think it would be easier to do them all, to tidy them up when I finish, because if I start that one, by the time I go all the way around and get back here, there's going to be so much lifting up and trimming that I think I might be encouraging some fraying. So I will just carry on and cut these shapes out and then tidy them up right at the end. Now this is what I'm going to be doing for quite a while. It's a bit of a scary thing to do actually, so I need to just concentrate a bit while I do this. So I'm going to carry on with this now. Now I found it's a lot easier to actually use the small scissors all the way around instead of the blade. The blade started pulling the fabric and the fibres and making it really messy, so I decided to give the scissors a try, and yeah, it's worked wonders. So one more to do, and then it'll be time to place this over the patchwork just to have a look and see what it's like. I can't wait to do that. I might do that now before I actually trim around and neaten these edges. I just want to see what the effect is. Right, so that is the last one. Oh, haven't cut the stitch yet, but I thought any stitches yet, but I thought I was about to then. So there we are, all done and dusted. Now go back to this, and oh, I do hope this is going to work. Ha, there we go. There we go. Right, now I'm going to move this around. When I eventually do place this, I will cherry pick which areas I use. I'd like a bit more yellow in there, but I didn't use very much yellow, did I? No, I didn't. So I'm now going to tidy up these and then cut round here and then tack it on some way to here. I'm taking out all the tacking now, and there was quite a lot of tacking put in to hold it down firmly, and while I was tacking I thought what I would do to really secure it is just put a few rows of machine stitching across these what look like wheel spokes, along the spokes here I've put some tacking, some machine sewing, and then I've pressed it, and it's given a nice flat piece of work where the two fabrics almost seem to have merged into one. So this is ready now for the next stage. There's so many stages in this, but it's a very quick and easy project to do. Of course, you can do this with patchwork, where you put the patchwork shapes on top of a fabric, but yeah, I prefer to do it this way. It's been a great fun, and not knowing either what I'm going to end up with, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. I think that might be most of the tacking out now. And you can see, I think I was right to actually use the scissors to cut around the shapes, because they're not messy at all. I still need to be careful because this fabric, as you know, it's prone to fraying. So in order to stop that fray, I am now going to put a very small oversew stitch all the way around these cut pieces. Now this sounds like a mammoth task actually, and it probably is, but I'm going to put this, spend this evening doing that. It's Saturday evening here. Glenn and I are both exhausted. We've had such a busy week that we're just going to sit down. He'll have a cider and I'll have a wine or a whiskey, and we're just going to feast on some TV. I think that will give me time to relax and to do a nice bit of sewing. I like that. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I keep thinking it would make a nice lid at the top of a work basket, a round tin. It wouldn't do as a cushion unless it's just an ornamental cushion, a statement cushion, because it wouldn't take a lot of pulling around, a lot of backs rubbing against it, because of the likelihood of it fraying. So it needs to be, if it's going to be made up into anything, it needs to be something that isn't really going to take a lot of wear and tear. And I'm thinking a lid or something. If not, I might just have to make a hanging. It's so pretty. I really do like this. I hope you all like it enough to give it a go, because it is just such a lovely thing to do. Anyway, on that note, I think Glenn and I are going out shopping now for our wine and our little nibbles later. Alright, and then I'm going to make a start on this. So I'll probably get back probably tomorrow now, and then hopefully I'll have, oh, I doubt if I'll have finished it, but hopefully I'll have something nice and positive to show you. Okay. So, last night was a nice evening. We did indeed have wine and nibbles. Today, back to reality. Although we have been to the cinema, we have tickets that give us a discount. So that's why we spend a lot of time at the cinema. So it's been a really nice weekend so far. It's not over yet, although it is late Sunday afternoon. But back to this now. You can see the obvious difference, which is this centre bit. At the moment it's just tacked there, and all I did was go through some fabric, tiny fabric pieces. These motifs here were cut from this. Now that is how big, if you can see this, let me just, you see that? That is all I had, and I've managed to cut 2 motifs from there. I like the yellow there because it matches all the yellow here. The blue for obvious reasons, because of all the blue here. And I think the dark blue goes with these pieces of dark blue. So I'm hoping that it's quite matched. I'm not quite ready to set it down yet. I just want to make sure that it's the right thing to do. And I just cut these out I did several pieces, circles, just to try and get the size right. I started off with this size, which seemed to overtake, but hey, on the screen that doesn't look so bad now. Oh, don't you just hate it when that happens? I shouldn't say hate, that's a horrible word. So I did trial some of these, and I had that one there as well, but I've settled on that, and actually it took me a good half an hour just to play around with these. The time just went past, and I thought, that's half an hour I've spent just doing these. Had no idea where to take this, but so it is tacked there very loose, so I'm going to leave that there. Hopefully by the time I finish this little segment, I'll know what I'm doing there. So another thing, I've done a little row of running stitch around here. Now I was going to use black. I thought I'd use black for any other stitching, but when I put the black against this, it was far too harsh. So I think this dark brown is nice. It's softer, but it is still giving the dark effect I like. I did put stone against it, this stone colour. It was too pale and weak, and for that reason I didn't go around these either, a blanket stitch around these. But now they've been held down really firmly with sewing machine, lines of sewing machine down here that you can't really see unless you squint a little bit, because it gets lost in this fabric. It really doesn't need anything else. I started off and I've actually left it. Oh, I can't even see. I started off here, so I did trial it. I did give it a run. I'm not sure if you can see that here. There's a little piece of stone colour there, a few stitches, and immediately I could see that isn't working. So I've left that, no need to take that out at all, and I've decided now not to outline these shapes, but they're good enough and secure enough as they are. So I don't think there's anything else I've done. Now I have got an idea, not sure at this point whether I'm going to do another row here, or if that might be over egging the pudding, so to speak, or if I'm going to leave it like this. Now I'm not sure. Now these are two possibilities. Not sure if I'm going to make this round, and I think looking at the screen maybe I should round that off. Or another possibility is to cut round this shape so I get the whole shape away from the background, and then pop it on here. Now this is a piece of Ada. As you can see, it's even got a little bit of embroidery on there. It's a piece of Ada. It gives me a headache, this working on a dark background like this or black. If I'm not working with a bright colour, it gives me a headache, and I took it away on that retreat and it was actually making me feel sick. I managed to do that, and then I had to change to a different colour background. So I'm thinking now this might be just the job. Ooh, yeah. Oh, actually, maybe even if I did it round. Oh, well, that throws a different light on it. Do I need to do it round, or shall I cut round, hit these? Would the edge get lost? Oh no, this is too difficult for a late Sunday afternoon. I think what I'm going to do is make it round. I'm going to make that round and put some braid around there or something around there. Then I'm going to cut it and mount it on here. Hopefully next time you see this will be mounted on there. I'm going to sew this on first and have a look to see if this will actually affect what I do here, and then I will cut this in the round. Okay, so watch this space, be back soon, and hopefully it's going to start looking finished. I'm just coming up to the end bit now. I'm just going around a piece of paper, part of the circle, and I'm moving it around as I go. This hasn't taken very long to do. I'm using a chain stitch with my big long sashiko needle and 3 strands of thread. Right, that is that. Just snip that off and see what we've got. Right, so there we are. We have quite like that. Now, while I was doing this, I didn't know whether to do it twice, maybe make that a thicker line, and I thought, no, I'm going to leave that now just for the time being. If I still feel the same way when I finish the next part, then I will do it. But I'm now going to fill some of these in, well, not fill them in, I'm going round, I should say, all the way round here with another row or 2 of running stitch. I was hoping that I could call it finished. I'm going to make this a little bit, there we go. But it just, sometimes it just seems the more that I do, the more I want to do, and the more I do, the less finished it looks. I expect we all have that problem. So by doing the outline here, I've made the rest look a little bit unfinished. So I'm just, oh, that's a tough bit there. So I'm going to go all the way around here, then stand back for a while and see how it's looking. And if I still think it needs an extra line around here, I'll pop an extra line in, but I'm hoping it doesn't. That's not a very straight line, is it? But it doesn't matter. Right, so I'm going to carry on and do this. I also want to make this a bit smaller, this light bright, this dark blue, because while I've been doing the chain stitch, it's been catching my eye, and actually close up it looks humongous, so I don't want that stuck in the centre, so I will make that smaller. So I will carry on with this now, and as soon as I get to the end, I'll get back and show you how it's looking. This is finished. I'm just going to run through what I've done. I've put herringbone stitch around here to secure this applied piece of fabric. I've put another row of running stitch around the edge all the way around here, and I've used purple in that, and then I've added a chain stitch all the way around the edge, and then I did a close zigzag all the way around the edge. So that is now finished, done and dusted. I'm not making this up into anything at the moment. I might frame it, I might just put it with the rest of the pieces like this in a portfolio, so we'll see anyway. But I hope you enjoyed that. I'll make that a little bit bigger so you can see the centre. There we go. So that is it close up. You can still see some of the feather stitch poking through for added interest and colour. You can see some of the running stitch in black, which to me was to give the idea of the lead, the black lead between the glass, the different colours. Some of them are two-tone colours. What else? And I don't think I can explain any more now, because I just think that's it. So it's a quick and easy project to do. Once you get past the actual cutting out, I mean, you could actually do this with templates, patchwork templates, which will give you a beautiful effect. This is just another way of doing it, a cutout work with the fabric underneath. So, thank you for staying with me to the end. I'm now really anxious to start Jackie's project, Jackie's challenge, and I think that's why I'm not making this up, because I'm so excited about doing Jackie's project, and I think I have something in mind. So I am really excited about this. I get excited about all your challenges, and it gives me something really special to focus on. So here we are. So if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. If not, don't worry. Don't worry. I won't hunt you down. Okay, so take care, everybody. And I look forward to hearing from you all on Facebook, private messages, and your comments below. Okay then, until next time. Bye.